Why was Green Bay the place where you wanted to be?
I mean, ultimately, my decision was based off of, just somebody who really had a plan for me, somebody who um, envisioned me coming in, making an impact, being able to help the team out in some shape or form. And to me, it seemed like Green Bay had the best plan, was most excited about me. So, I like me. So,
Isaiah, what is their vision for you, and how do you think you can make that work?
sorry, you said the vision for me?
Yeah, what is their vision? What do you think that does for your skill set?
I mean, ultimately, my vision is just to come in and be able to help the guys in any type of way because, as everybody knows, most people return for the team. So, really, what everyone was looking for here was just the few key pieces that they would need to, maybe surpass some of the hiccups that they came about last year. And with this being a young team, I think just like my veteran experience is one thing that definitely will be able to help, just maybe give my knowledge to some of the younger guys that haven't maybe had as many snaps or whatever it may be. But, I just feel like that as well as, my versatility with what I bring, my speed, just being able to play sideline to sideline, hit, run fast. I just feel like that'll be able to be implemented and used in many different forms.
What do you think is the best way for them to do that with what you bring in versatility? What's the best way to unlock that?
I mean, I think really, what I ran into like my most of my career is everybody wants me to do everything opposed to letting me get really good at one thing first. And I fully believe in Hav's plan. He's let me just lock in and really learn a small portion first before we even think about expanding to anything else. And that's something I really appreciate because I never really had that opportunity to, really just hone in on one position. I mean, it's hard enough to get into the NFL, let alone stay, as well as be effective in a position. So just being able to lock in on one thing and do that 111 every day is, I mean, that's been, I feel like, huge for me. It's just something that I really haven't been able to, it hasn't been, that hasn't been presented to me because my versatility, I mean, I feel like it's a little bit of a gift and a curse where they want you to do everything, but at the end of the day, I'm still a human, so,
What is it that you're focused on and honed in on right now? What's step one in terms of that small piece that you're starting with?
Yeah, I mean, right now I'm just trying to master the playbook, know I like my name. So, like I said, all the guys came back last year from the defense, other than obviously a few guys, but they all know the playbook. So I'm in catch-up mode, trying to catch up to all of them. So that's been my biggest task is just making sure that I know it just as well as them because I don't want to go out there and be a guy that maybe they were like, oh, maybe he won't know this play or anything. So I just want to just come in like nothing's ever missed.
What have you learned about Halfley and, what's just been like building that relationship as you're getting familiar with this defense?
I mean, I like his coaching style. I like his staff that he's accumulated. I feel like everybody has the same visions, same goals. Everybody's on the same page of what's going on. And it's just everything is very intentional with the corrections that are in between each individual person. So, like the way Havs may come coach me may be different than how he coaches Coop or Quay or Duff. It's just so just having that within a coach is something that is important because then he can differentiate how to get to people and how not to and what's going to be beneficial for the team or the guy or whatever it may be.
You've played a lot of good football. In the last 2 years, probably didn't go the way you were hoping.
Mm-hmm.
You look back and say, what the hell did people miss about you? And is this a chance to kind of reaffirm your status as a high-quality defender?
I believe everything happens for a reason. There's a lot of things that happened in the past years that I just don't have the answer to or why it happened like that. That's between whatever they got going on over there. But, this year, I'm definitely looking forward to just getting back out there and just showing everybody what's really good. So,
Have you just been playing the Will? Has that been the spot that they want you to hone in on?
Sam and Will so far.
Sam and Will.
That's
LaFleur
really
told us-
interesting, though, because every time I've seen your name in print, that word hybrid is by it, too. I mean, you've seen that, too.
Mm-hmm.
Right? just expand on that. I mean, I think that's great what you say. It's a blessing and a curse. And how does that help you as a player, though, if you can be focused on one assignment or one situation in games to get started here?
Well, yeah, I mean, as everybody knows, everybody has individual goals as well as the team goals, and you fighting every day to become the best player you can, and within doing that, you would like to become, a Pro Bowler, All-Pro, and like I just said earlier, sometimes it's a little hard to, I'm maybe competing against a guy who's just focused on playing one thing, and I'm learning this, that, and the third, and not that it's about me competing against that guy, but that's just me giving an example of how much more difficult it would be for me to learn this position, that position, that position, that position, all at one time, opposed to just knowing one thing at a time. Nothing wrong with being a hybrid, because I truly do believe that I could play at a high level at multiple positions, but it's a way to do it. So.
How many times have you gone against the Packers, and can you think of a play or two that maybe stood out on the tape in those games?
I know when we played them in New York, nothing too crazy then, but I know when I played them when I was in Arizona. I think this was maybe 4 years ago now. I know it was a fade ball to Aaron Jones, like 60-yard fade ball or something like that. I know I was a PBU, so.
LaFleur told us that he asked Xavier McKinney about you, and he really vouched for these guys bringing you in. What does that mean to you?
I mean, it means a lot, especially coming from a guy like X, very respected guy in this league, as we all know. Personally, I think best safety, you ask me, but
You or him?
Him. But like I said, coming from all-pro guy who plays at the level he plays at, I've seen him play since we were going against each other at Alabama, all the way to being a teammate with him at New York to now here, and just knowing how he goes about his business every single day, how he plays, type of leader, vocal leader he is, leads by example, just does the right thing all the time. Having guys like that in your corner definitely means a lot. Just lets you know that guys believe in you and know that you're here for a reason.
Isaiah, when you get to the NFL, your hope is to maybe stay in one spot for a little bit, but the fact that you have moved around, do you feel like your growth as a person in this league and understanding the business of this league has helped you as a player?
Absolutely. The NFL, a big part of it is about what situation you're in and where you're at. Placement matters. And every system doesn't fit everybody. So, honestly, I feel like this is the most comfortable in the system I've been since I've been in the league. And I don't, of course you want to live, be somewhere through like your whole career, but like I said, I'd rather be in a better system than be in one team the whole time.
Why do you feel like this is the most comfortable system you've been in?
I mean, every coordinator, they run their defenses different, have different nuances within their game. And I just feel like Hav's defense just fits me better, just with how my skill type was, how I came, like more so of like how I kind of played in college. He was in college recently, so that could be a part of it. But I just like his vision, his creativity. I feel like I need to be with a guy who's creative, so kudos to him for that.
Isaiah, when you talked about the vision earlier, was part of the sales pitch from them to you that they wouldn't make you do so many different things? Was that one of the things that you're kind of getting at that appealed to you? Was that half and those guys said, no, we're going to make you this? And was that not part of the equation? I
mean, honestly, when I came here, they were nothing but upfront. They're like, we're just going to be completely candid. Like most of our guys are coming back. There are a few pieces that we need, and you would happen to be one of them. So they let me know that in the other places that they're good at that position, which that's amazing, because a lot of times when I had to be moved around, it was due to like maybe injuries of guys not being able to play, or some people maybe just weren't good enough to play there, so then I would have to be moved around and whatnot. So that was actually really encouraging to come in and know that I was going to have like a specific role on just how it's going to help the team, and I could focus on that.
So when you're drafted as high as you are, obviously that comes with expectations outside and internally. So when you look at the journey you've been on to get to standing here now, Has it been difficult? Has it been frustrating? And how does that make you feel now going into this opportunity?
I mean, yeah, it's frustrating, difficult at times, but, you know, I'm very faithful, and, you know, even I believe, like, God gives his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers, so times when I can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, I got to use his eyes, so there's been times where, you know, maybe self-doubt or whatever it may be, you know, you try not to hear the media and whatnot, but it happens, you know, it's going to come up at some time. You're going to see some stuff, so I'm not here to impress nobody. I know who I am as a person. I know what I can do on the field. I've done it. You know, people have seen it. So, you know, I'm just going to keep doing what I got to do. And I'm let the outside know it's be what it's got to be. It has been frustrating, but ultimately, I try to treat everything as a lesson. So you got to learn from it. You can either take it and build from it, or you can let it hold you down. So I'm actually very grateful for New York for what they did. They lit a fire in me, so I'm ready to go.
I'm not sure how much you knew about Edgerrin Cooper before you got here. He had a really, really good rookie year. What have just been your first impressions of working with him?
He's a dog. Yeah, he's a dog. Nothing less. Nothing less. He's going to be real special in this league for sure.
To go back to McKinney, how much did you watch what he did last season, and did it even give you maybe a sense of comfort knowing that you were going to come into a situation with an established defense that was able to have a lot of success?
Yeah, I mean, after every game, every time I looked at my phone, I'm like, he got another pick. So it's definitely encouraging just seeing what X did his first year leaving. Hey, I mean, what better welcome than to come in and be all-pro and get all those interceptions.
So you've referred to Duff, Coop, X. There's 2 Isaiahs on the defense. Have you gotten
3?
a nickname?
There's 3 of us.
Isaiah Dunn.
Right?
Yeah,
right.
Isaiah Dunn, me, and Duffy.
So
yeah.
have you gotten your own nickname at this point, or is there any creativity at work there?
So we're trying to keep like Isaiah or Zay for me.
Okay.
And then we call the other guys by Dunn. We try to call him Dunn. And then I call him Duffy. So
Okay.
we try to call him Duff.
So no, there's no creative.
It's not really too creative yet. Yeah, no.
What's the adjustment to being in Green Bay been like for you so far? The facility, the players?
My first time coming here, I was like, damn, this feels like Clemson because it's just so small, kind of like one of everything. So it just gives me like a college town vibe where everything is just all ball, which is a good thing. I like that. It's not New York, I can tell you that.
You said that New York lit a fire under you. What was it about that experience that lit that fire? Was it stuff that came from inside the building? Was it your own feeling like you didn't reach that potential you wanted to? Or what was it about that?
I mean, I'm just a competitor at the end of the day, and, I just want to be out there on the field, try to help the guys as much as I can. And, there was games where maybe I have like 3 snaps, and it'd be like kickoff, all touchbacks, you know what I'm saying? So it was just a lot of times where I just maybe couldn't put the pieces of the puzzle together on why things like that were happening. So it was frustrating, but only thing it did was just when the season ended, I looked at myself in the mirror and said, this will never happen again. So at the end of the day, coaches make the decisions, but it's up to me to make the decision hard for them. So I vowed to myself that I would make the decision hard for every single coach in the future, regardless if that was what happened over there or not. I'm not sure if, that's what went on, but for me, that's how I took that.
We watched this defense bring in a crop of young talent rookies from last year's draft class, and I remember the coaching staff just being so deliberate in how much they got early on and not giving them too much, the kind of things you're talking about. Is that something that you felt your first 2 seasons, that wasn't handled the same way? It was too much at one time, too accelerated?
Yeah, maybe at times I do believe so. Like I said, everybody knows I got drafted at linebacker, but there's games I started at safety. So started at nickel as well. Most of my time I played nickel, actually, in Arizona. So it's a lot. It was I can't speak on every rookie because my year was very different. I had COVID year. Everything I learned was virtual. And I'm more of a on-the-field rep guy. So, I'm not an excuse guy, but that's just how I learned. And it just made it a little more difficult and maybe slowed down the process a little more. But maybe just slowed it down a little more, the process. But
COVID was
makes it a
weird.
little difficult. Yeah, it was a weird year.
Weird
Like
year.
every day was a new day. Nobody knew what was coming, and it
Did
was
you
strange.
just expect to be a
How's the two
linebacker
more?
when you came in? Like that was like, or did you know that okay, I'm gonna play some safety, I'm gonna play some nickel,
You know,
all around?
I figured I maybe would get moved a little bit, but maybe not as much as I did. I feel like I got moved around a lot, and everybody, you got to earn your paycheck.
Right.
So you can't just bet on one guy to move around and fill voids and be a Band-Aid for the team. It's not really fair, but yeah, I guess I just didn't really expect it to be as drastic as it was, but I appreciate it because it just gives me more experiences in different places, see the game from different angles. Because the NFL it's different than any other level of ball.
So they've got the 3 linebackers who are back, and if you're not going to be playing other positions, what is your role? Are you trying to take out one of those starters and win that job? Are you
Every
banking
day.
on the creativity of Hafley to find spots for you guys? So how do you envision that you're playing out?
I mean, yeah, every day. We can be best friends, but at the end of the day, you got to know that we're competing. And that's going to do nothing but make us better, whoever the guy's going to be out there. And, like I said, I'm just here to make the decision tough for the coach because ultimately that's going to make the team better. So whatever happens with that. If it comes to where Havs wants to figure something out to get us all going, then, that's up to them. I'm just coming in here to work every day and working my ass off.
Isaiah,
Last one.
just real quick, all that other stuff of nickel and safety, and it has to make a guy who is a big dude and an athletic dude a really good cover guy. Is that the benefit for if they leave you in one spot, you have coverage skills that your everyday average linebacker does not have? Is that, or am I wrong to think?
No, I'd say so because, a lot of times when I like for instance, last year I spent all my time in the DB room, so when I do like one-on-ones and whatnot, I go against wideouts and stuff. So I've had a lot of times in my career where I do cover wideouts. So I feel like maybe just like my experience and being comfortable out there is probably a little higher than the other guys, but here I don't got to deal with that. So I'm on tight ends and running backs.